Hello, community. For those who all are joining in, welcome to this next episode of this series called Talking Tech with Innovators. It is organized by Meta Developer Circle Mumbai in association with Maker Mela, which is the Asia's largest platform for makers. We host a series of interviews with entrepreneurs and innovators and developers from our community every week. And my name is Sarna. I am a data engineer co-op at Whoop and also a graduate student at Northeastern University. And I will be the host for your evening. Today, we have two extremely young and passionate and really focused individuals for our session. And they are Ashwini, who is the CEO and co-founder of Winuall, and Shubhodeep Mukherjee, who is the director of engineering at Winuall. Um, it, it, I do agree that we had a short break since our previous episode with Harappa Education, but here we are with the next episode with these young and awesome community members. So we are very happy to host everyone today. A little bit more about our guest. Previous to starting his own venture at Winuall, Ashwini led the Meta Developer Circle's Valor and is super enthusiastic to help and support everyone in the community. And Shubhadeep, on the other hand, too, has a strong sense of building developer communities and has led Google Developer Group in Valor and has also been the technical lead at Paytm Insider. And these are just like to name a few. Thank you so much, Ashwini and Shubhadeep, for doing this with us. And for our audience, no matter where you're joining from, just let us know in the comments where you belong to, where you're from, a little bit about yourself so that we can get to know you. And we just want to know, like, how are we reaching to everybody, and we're super excited to host everyone this evening. So hi Ashwini, hi Shubhadeep. Before we go full head on and before we get started, why don't you just like tell us a little bit more about when you all a little a tiny glimpse into the Winuall world, and a little bit more about the company.
Sure. Thanks, Anna, for hosting us, and thanks to Meta Developer Circles Mumbai. As you rightly mentioned, I was a part of Meta Developer Circles Valor, and which is where we built communities, hosted up a lot of meetups, and could again completely relate. And great to be back and contribute in any sense possible. So I'll start with introducing myself, and then maybe Shubhadeep could introduce himself, and then maybe we can deep dive into what we do at Winuall. So I'm Ashwini, one of the co-founders at Winuall. I largely take care of the product, so which is where I have built products in the past. Shubho and I happens to be friends from first year itself from college. So we have built a lot of things together, learned a lot of things together, and I would say a lot of things that I have learned, particularly in tech, came from Shubhodeep, because like he used to code a lot, and I used to see kar kya raha hai ye. So which is where like a lot of knowledge and learnings came in. And after my college days, started building Winuall, and which is where the entire journey in the startup ecosystem started. Over to you, Shubhodeep.
Yeah, hi, Zarana. Thank you for hosting us. Yeah, so as Ashwini said, he started off with Vinual at a very young age. I remember him, sort of coding on Vinual since I guess year one of our college, and he used to, bug me on, okay, how do we solve this? How do we, bring this solution to the tutors and everyone, right? And along the way, I've seen Ashwini grow with the startup, and when he reached out to me that we are looking for someone who can head the engineering, and he thought that I was the person, and I was really glad that it came to me. And I've never been so obliged and happy that I'm leading a team which is so enthusiastic towards building a solution for the tutors.
So great to hear. Like, it's rare to see, like friends who've become CEOs and now like are just like doing their thing. So it's great to know about your background and your story. And like Ashwini, mentioned about like how crucial like was the education journey. Like it seems like you guys have known each other for a very long time. So how do you think was, and you have been working on the product since the very first year. So how crucial do you think was your education journey towards where you are right now? And I think this question is kind of important because like a lot of our viewers are currently students or are fresh graduates. So I think it will be a nice insight to know and understand like what students can do in their education journey and how can they make the most. Like what are the skills that you pick back then which became an integral part to you and to Winuall?
So if I talk about me, Zarna, I think the entire college days, or let's say the tenure where we were graduating, the most important and crucial part out there was to build a network of people, like you, who are interested in tech. Like I was particularly so much interested in building products, learning new technologies and learning what actually industry wants versus, what is there in the book. So which is where like we did build a lot of communities, and which is where DevC Velour also started its journey. We also worked together in GDG. So these were all a set of people who used to think together like a similar, and used to build products together. And which is where I think the most important part, according to me, in the education journey is that you learn the skills that industry needs, right? And which is where I think if you are on the track to learn skills that the industry would need, definitely like even getting a job, starting up, or building your own career would not be a problem. So yeah, I think from my end the most important part is to learn the skills that industry needs, and maybe Shubhodeep could then tell that what skills would definitely help people to build their careers.
Yep. So as Ashwini said, everything is there, but there can be many skills one can need to build a company, to even just play a small role at a company and just start off with a job. But more likely, what I found in my experience as a developer, then a lead, and then now heading a team, is if you are very much aligned to the idea, the what the company is trying to solve, right? You either way develop skills to just be a really good contributor in that particular company or a very small project, right? So skills can be anything. One can learn any language anytime they want, but if you are not aligned with the problem statement, that is where you break. But what I've seen here at Winuall is that everyone is so aligned with sort of enabling solutions for the tutor, that each and everyone is building out solutions, developing new skills, and contributing as much as they can.
Yeah, that's great to know, and see like how you emphasize on aligning your team's goals and with goals on an individual level for every team member. So like talking more about this, like what were there any skills or were there any practices that you guys sort of did back at college that are kind of helping you right now? Anything that you think were crucial back then?
Cool. I'll start, and maybe then Shubho could add up. So if I particularly talk about myself, and you could see the smile on Shubho's face. So for us, it was basically building products as fast as possible. So what I've realized in past 7 to 8 years while building products, or let's say even while I was starting up, or when we were scaling, when we all together, is that everyone in tech thinks about scale from day one, right? Even if it's a hobby project, they'll be like, okay, how do I scale it? So I think first and foremost important thing is to test out that whether your product would be required in the industry or not. And for that, people do build MVPs. So I would definitely encourage people to learn how to build things quickly, rather than first focusing on scale. Once you get traction, once you get your user base who are using your product, definitely then scale plays a very important role in scaling it to the next level. So for me, it has always been, taking 0 to 1 kind of a journey where, building products, testing it out, again reiterating, going back to the tutors, understanding did it solve their problem. And in a lot of cases, it did not even require building a complete product. It was just a prototype that you could build on Figma, and you can just show them the screens. And you can just observe that did this solve a problem, or are people willing to pay for this service, right? It's a very simple question that people can ask while building products. But yeah, for me it has been always figuring out how to solve this problem via a minimal viable product, and take it to the users, and get their first time experience or reaction. Once you get that, you have a lot of knowledge about, are you going in the right direction. Just imagine you build an entire building and then there is no one to live in, right? It's completely useless to build that building. So I think the first and foremost step that people should keep in mind while, even if they are starting up, or while they are learning a new skill set, is to build a minimal viable product. Once your product is up and running, you have a lot of users, and definitely bugs would never, leave you at any scale. Then you could actually think about that. Okay, I have these X number of users, logging in and out every day, and now scale problem comes in, right? And in fact, right now I would say there are a lot of tools, cloud support, etc., which are supporting all the emerging startups, or starting new, like the new startups, with credits, with support, etc. So you could leverage, and you could afford to build a bad tech enabled solution, and you could keep on running it on cloud credits, and meanwhile you can get traction, and then you can scale it up. And definitely that also happened in my case. So in our case, the journey of Winuall started when we went back to Kota, which is the hub of educational institutions. So we stayed there for around 3 to 6 months, and we actually went to coaching, and then started sitting in their classrooms, understanding how they are teaching, how the students are learning, how the content is being delivered. And then we went back to our room, and started building a very minimal product, which was just taking exams online. That was it. Because the basic problem that we saw was that the analytics on student level is not at par. Like, only access to tutors were the marks and the rank, right? But there are a lot of parameters, like how much time did the student take to solve a question, what are the weak areas of the student, how could the student improve later. So we just built a testing engine. That was it, right? And that also we did build with the help of predefined frameworks, that is the our entire coding time. And when we were running up, and when we spent almost about 8 to 12 months in the industry, we had about 100 plus coachings at that time. And then when we raised funds, and we had to now lever up our own scale, and the growth engine. And which is where again I reached back to Shubho and told that ab yahan se tumhe sambhalna, and now the scale part comes in, right? So these are two different areas. And when Shubho came in, then he took it to the another level, thinking about that, okay, now the business would require scale. Now there will be millions of users would be using the platform in and out, right? And which is where I think is the right time to think about scale, and which is where Shubho comes in. So yeah.
So, like, Shubhadeep, like, how did your tech stack evolve? Like, when you like, I think from what Ashwini said, that the two major key takeaways would be, go like, one step at a time, take, tiny incremental steps, and like sort of test your product at every level. You don't need to have like a brilliant idea, and like you don't need to be a perfectionist and have everything ready. Just like take it incrementally, take one step at a time, get feedback, because feedback is super important and crucial to understand if your product is viable, if it is actually solving a real world problem. And I think scalability is like something which doesn't get spoken about enough. So it's great to see that we are covering this topic over here in today's session, so that we can emphasize on its importance. And like, as Ashwini said, that you always were thinking about scalability. So I'm pretty sure, like, when things moved online during the pandemic, there were like, this whole influx of everybody, like the whole teaching industry moving online, like classes being conducted online, tests being and exams being conducted online. So like, how did your tech stack evolve to sort of support that? And what were like, a few of the crucial things, like deciding factors that okay, we want to go with this tech?
Good. So yeah, as Ashwini, sort of repeated the point of having a first MVP product first, and then looking forward, if that succeeds, then we need a scalable product, right? Which happened with Winuall, where just when everything started moving to online, MVP was tested with SaaS and marketplace coming into place. There was a very much need of how to get tutors onboarded as quickly as possible, and also get the distribution right. Meanwhile, letting all the existing tutors use the product, get them engaged as much as possible, right? In which the tech had the major role in it, because previously tech was building an MVP out, right? Their goal was just to, okay, how do I get this minimal product out to our customers and get it tested, get the right kind of analytics in place. But now we had to first distribute it to the right kind of market, and also have the right kind of engagement in our existing product. So, giving an very funny anecdote is that once we started scaling, and by each and every day, the number of clients getting acquired started increasing, which was very exponential. And as our business model says, we give out white label apps and website, which means each and every client gets their own Android apps, right? And any Android developers who are viewing this live can tell how much hassle of it is to build out a app for even just one app, right? And we were building out, at that time, 500, 600 apps a day, right? And previously, it used to be a very manual process. One of our developers used to sit through the whole process, develop 25 chunks of apps a day, right? But it was, we were shedding out developers' time, which, if we translate, is a lot more expensive, right? So we sat through it. We developed a state of art pipeline, which, right now we are at a situation that we can build out 100, 200 apps in just 10 minutes without even any kind of intervention, right? It is the kind of scale that we have reached, and everything is very well automated via Jenkins, Kubernetes, wherever we want to place it. And the distribution time has reduced to, just on demand basis. Previously, it used to be that they get queued into the whole pipeline. They get their app after 3 or 4 days. Now, the only timeline which gets required is the app approval timeline from the Google Play Store, right? Uh, our timeline is just reduced to seconds. So yeah, and I would majorly, attribute this whole tendency of mine as because I've always been thrown out to build a scalable product. Even when I was at Paytm Insider, I was, thrown into Paytm movies, which was scaling at a very large scale, number. Then I was moved to Paytm Chat, which was very much at large, and there I learned the need and the ways to how to scale a product and its tech. So that's what I've brought to Winuall. Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
sorry.
yeah, that's really great to hear that, like a value that you picked up at your previous company is sort of helping you build your own product and better it. So like in the process of scalability, like what were the things that you like, if let's say like if we have like anyone in audience right now who is like this thinking about scaling their product, like where do you think they should start? What are the things, crucial things that they should keep in mind?
Yeah, I think I was just having this discussion with my team a few hours back when we were discussing that what led to the kind of scalability mentality within the team. So everyone, had one single answer, that everyone first thinks of one single component, right,
Mm-hmm.
of the whole entire system. And they
Mm-hmm.
think, okay, if I scale this, will this affect the other systems, right? So the drill down conclusion is always think unitary, and break things into components, and then try to see the whole bigger picture, that how does things fit into it. And if you, for example, I'll just, if give an example of our one of the majorly highest use feature, which is quiz. So previously we had Quiz as one of the within the main repo, main service with the main database. But then we realized that if we wanted to scale Quiz, then we had to scale our main database itself. So let's say if our database is of 10 unit, then if we are scaling as per traffic, then even if we double it, it becomes 20, right? But after we sort of split it out as a different component, as a different microservice, and as a different database itself, the unit became very small. So now Quiz was, let's say, 2 units. And if I want to scale it by 5, it becomes 10. And I have much more, summation unit, which is lesser than what I was doing before. So yeah, if you distribute things component wise, if you think what each and every concern is happening, then it will definitely help you.
Yep, and I think that also ensures that you're like not breaking anything and like you're not missing out anything if you like sort of divide everything into chunks. And if you don't, like there can always be like these small edge cases that you or like small pieces of code that go untouched, and you're like, oh, we completely missed this, and it things might like break really badly. So like I think this is a great advice to like take it one unit at a time, one step at a time. I think the whole theme of like I think a very core part of Winuall is like just going one step at a time, and it just clearly shows. So yeah, that's a good advice for the audience. Like just try to take it one step at a time. And like I'm pretty sure like with scaling your product and like with meeting all the customer demands, like you would also need to like sort of have team members who are able to keep up with the pace of growth. So did you have to hire more people for it? And like what do you think is like important when it comes of like scaling not only tech but then scaling your team as well?
So great questions, Anna. And I think
Mm-hmm.
like it has a lot of I would say a lot of parts to answer. Like we have a lot of parts to answer with. The first and foremost thing is that you should have a solid team that takes and owns up the responsibility while you scale. Because once you scale, you can't scale down, or you can't slow down your growth. And typically in early stage startup or a growth stage startup where we are doubling down, tripling down month over month, it's very important that you serve to your customers in every single possible way, be it service, be it customer support, be it the tech support, or maybe let's say the product itself, right? And it's not only about the product that we offered at the time of sign up, but the product also keeps on evolving day by day, right? Like because you introduce a lot of features, you improve the product every single day. So I think the first step to this, according to me, is building a team that takes up the responsibility, and definitely all you need to do is just focus on growth, and your team would take care of different components. So what worked in our case was, we divided up the responsibility in each and every task. Like be it, let's say, acquiring more customers, it was responsibility of a person, right? If it's about serving customers after the educator is onboarded, it's responsibility of another person who is responsible for the entire journey, right from the acquisition to the onboarding part. And then definitely delivering products and making sure that the customer experience is at par, this is the responsibility of another team, right? So the entire team takes up their own responsibility, and make sure that they are doing best at it. Because if you want to optimize for 10 things, you need to have different teams to do that, rather than you alone doing every single thing at the same time. So that worked with us very well. We were very fortunate to have amazing rockstar people in every single team, be it tech, be it marketing, be it our business development team, our customer support team. And I would say the best team I would say would be the entire people team, who helped us to grow our entire team from maybe I would say 6 7 people back in 2019 2022, right now about 150 people. So definitely the most important role also goes with our people team, who help us to find out the rockstar team members who are building Renewal together right now. If you would like to know about the tech part, I think Shubho would be able to tell about that.
Yeah, so with I guess we can bring the analogy of MVP and scaling part into it. That while you're building a team for the first time in your career, and you with the team, you first, along with that, you want to build a right kind of culture, right? So we also had the kind of experience where we tested out the right kind of culture with a very minimal wire product, just like how we approached it, right? And once we hit the right kind of culture, the right kind of mentality, the right kind of attitude that we required from a person, we just scaled it. And now we know that each and every person that we want to hire, what the kind of person we are looking for, and that's is how it's helping us hire more and more people. Recently, we have paced up our hiring, and we are, getting as much influx. We are getting freshers, we are getting experienced people, but with the kind of attitude and the mentality that we want within our team.
um this all of this like sounds really great, and like as you said that when you all is growing, do you think there are any current open positions that our audience can apply to, or people from our community can apply to and maybe check it out?
Yeah. So, speaking from tech, we are continuously hiring for full stack engineers, backend engineers, front end engineers, and we have a whole, as you heard about how many apps we deliver, we are very much looking forward to how to optimize our Android apps. So we are looking for Android engineers. Yep, and overall, we are looking for even engineering managers and technical leads to help us grow uh, our team.
Awesome. So there are like multiple openings and multiple opportunities. So people who are here just to get some insight on like what's happening in the startup world, and who would want to who find Vinyl interesting and who want to work with such awesome people, please feel free to apply. And I hope like it works out, and I'm pretty sure you guys will have a great journey at Winuall. So thank you, Ashwini and Shubhadeep, for these excellent insights and stories. Hope our audience has noted down all the key learnings from this episode. I'm pretty sure it will help you all a lot, even if you're just planning to build a new tech product for your local community, or you're just like applying for tech roles, or if you're just starting out. So these the advices given by Ashwini and Shubhadeep were just like covered all of it. So I hope it really helps you. And moving on, we'll just like have like a quick round of rapid fire questions. So let's begin. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question is like, what do you do to spend your time outside of work?
I think there is hardly time left outside of work, to be honest, because at least I wake up. There'll be a lot of messages on Slack, WhatsApp, and mails. So the first 30 to 45 minutes just after waking up goes into checking out and replying back to each and every person. And I think after that we directly start getting ready for work, and then going out to office. While we come back after home, I think the most of the part would go into even listening to podcasts, or listening to other people out, how they are building or how they are working. Apart from that, there would be quick breaks, I would say. So once in a while we'll go out, hang out with our friends, and we'll chill. So I think, yeah, that is what at least I would do out of work.
Nice. And
Yeah.
what about you, Shubhadeep?
So I've been a musician since my childhood, and that's what I aspire to be. I'm still growing. I'm still growing up. So I think my aspiration leads to being a future full-time musician. So that's where I spend my time. I play my guitar at my spare time. And fun fact, Ashwini and I are flatmates. So everything that he said, impacts my
Applies to
life.
you as well.
Yeah.
But nice. I think like Shubhadeep must provide like good enough entertainment for Ashwini with his
Yeah,
guitar
yeah, yeah. In fact,
sessions.
a lot of times we jam together as well. So
Nice.
it's very fun sessions with him.
That's great. That's very wholesome. Moving on to the next question. What new technology, or what's that one technology you feel will transform the future?
Ashwini, you want to answer that first?
I personally think the entire way how AR and VR are shaping up could actually transform the way people consume content on the internet, or let's say work in a way. I think we have seen a lot of places where metaverse is already have started being in the initial phases. Not too sure how it would shape up, but definitely if it shapes up well, this could be really big.
Um, Yeah. So according to me, I've been very much into, getting to learn the whole distributed system side of point of view, right? And I feel how few of the stacks which are working, especially on the distributed sides and trying to optimize the whole bit, definitely will be a very contributing part to the whole Web3 system. And also, apart from that, how we are moving with Elixir Live, for example, Phoenix Live, for example, is really going to shape up how web looks in the future.
Yep, I think both of these are very, very relevant. Like one focusing on like the new emerging technology, and the other about like improving whatever current existing technology. I think these two are great points. What's the one thing that sort of not like about being a startup founder, or like what's what's the one thing you hate about like being shouldered so much responsibility?
I would say, at least for me, there are two things. Like I took two phones with the intent that okay, one would be my office phone, one would be my personal phone, and now there is no personal phone as such. So everything happens on my office phone, be it personal messages or office messages. And I think it has become a habit that could be pretty bad for others as well, because I don't mind working late at night, but others might. So yeah, I think the one thing that I would not like so much is mixing up both the lives. So yeah, I think that would be one.
And how is it going for you, Shubhadeep?
So I guess I will blame Ashwini completely for this, for bringing me into this whole system. But what I really find bugging is the how I can never leave the problem statement behind, and which sort of impacts how I'm trying to seclude it from different things which I'm doing in my life, right? So now the whole responsibility which I've taken, and problem statement doesn't even sort of isolate to the product itself. It's just every people who is part of my team, everyone I'm coordinating with, everyone is part of the problem statement which I'm trying to solve, right? So that's the thing which comes onto my the shoulder, all the role which is there, which I'm trying to manage. I'm trying to see how I can have the both kind of balanced life. But yeah, that's the thing which I'm hating right now.
Okay, and like following up on that question and what you just said, like what's the one advice to like sort of maintain work-life balance?
So, as I, sort of, I'll continue what I was saying. What which I'm trying to do, and is sort of working for me is if I'm able to go home while I've accomplished something, even it be a one small single thing. But if I'm able to go home that I'm proud of what I achieved, then I feel that while I'm at my home, I feel that okay, I can now concentrate on my life. I can do other things, and yeah, that will give me a very good, well balanced, approach.
Yeah, I think I definitely resonate with that a lot, because I'm also that kind of a person. If work's not done, if whatever I had on hand is not complete, I just like cannot rest at home. Once I'm back home, I'm just like thinking about it. So yeah, just like again over there, I think like whatever we discussed today, like breaking down task into like smaller chunks helps, because you can like achieve those smaller tasks and like not feel bad about like not completing like the whole task, because like there are these smaller tasks to go by. uh how about you, like what do you do, Ashwini, to sort of
I
maintain
think
work life
I
balance?
would not be the best person to answer that because I'm still figuring it out. So if once I solve this out, I'll definitely reach out to you and share how am I managing.
Awesome, we're gonna have another session where we will discuss about this in great depth. We're more than
I
happy
guess.
to host you next time as well. And I think let's wrap this up with like one final, rapid fire question, which I think is like pretty cool. Is that what's the one appreciation note that you remember, like as being startup co-founders, like you constantly get feedback, and sometimes the feedback can be like really positive, and you could just see how your product is making a difference to real people and helping people out. So what's like that one appreciation note that you remember?
So Anna, for me, I think one thing that would keep on reminding me every single day to work even harder and build products for the community is when one of our educators, Ashish sir from Jammu and Kashmir, he actually called me up while the COVID was going through, and I think it was roughly when almost second wave was settling up. So at
Mhm.
that time, he called up and said that students in this area were not able to even connect to the internet properly, or they are not able to travel. But how he has made the entire ecosystem in such a way that now more than 400 students are learning from him, right, and are preparing for NEET exam and medical exams. And when I see his statuses where he posts up the results of the students, right, like his student got selected in this college or his student
Mhm.
got to that college, I really feel that we might have made a difference, or let's say we have contributed in our way, right? It would be a
Yeah,
tiny contribution, but
totally.
somehow I feel that was definitely something that at least motivates me to work harder and solve this problem. And I'm very sure that once we solve more problems in this domain, it would be helpful for the entire education community, and it would definitely make an impact on the way people teach, people learn. So yeah, I would say that is something that really motivates me.
That was such a heartwarming like story. Like you build a product thinking that it'll help you tutors, but then eventually when you see that it's also helping the students
Exactly.
who are like working with the tutors, that's like nothing can be more gratifying than that.
And
Like
and and
awesome.
what the educator told was actually that because we help educators build their own brand, right? Like we are not
Yeah.
someone who will ask the educator to leave their brand and then join our platform. The students who called them up and were thanking him out to teach on his own app, so that his own app is something that is something that we were trying to build. And when an educator listens to such comments where they listen that okay sir आपने अपनी ऐप पे पढ़ाया बहुत अच्छा लगा मतलब, and we were able to complete our syllabus on time, we were able to ask doubts. So that actually motivates when we see that okay, something that we were trying to build is reaching in the direction. So
Mhm.
at least direction sahi hai. So yeah.
Yeah, like I really like that you like somewhere or the other you like rely on feedback, like on whatever you do. I noticed that, Ashwini, like you hold feedback like at like a really high importance. So I think that's another thing that I feel is very crucial, to like constantly get feedback and sort of integrate it into whatever you're doing. And like, what about you, Shubhadeep? Is there like any like more heartwarming stories from your side, or anything else, like any other appreciation note that helps you get out of the bed every morning?
So I would say for me, it is the team, right?
Mhm.
So it's not a very direct appreciation which I've received. It's basically the appreciation which a team member or some other team member, while they were having client calls or understanding while they were explaining the product, they received, and they came up to me and said, like this is the thing that we built and client really liked it, right? And they were really happy. So that was the kind of which actually makes me come to office, help them out building the product, give them the right kind of direction. So yeah, I guess for me the appreciation is comes from my team.
Yeah, like I think best appreciation is also like the one that comes from your team, like with people who you work on a daily basis. Like you see each other's faces every single day, and sometimes
Yeah.
you tend to get fed up of each other. But like it's great to see it when your own team members sort of contribute you, appreciate you, and like sort of express your gratitude towards however you're contributing. So that's great to No. So I think with this, we will culminate our today's session. It was absolutely pleasure to host you guys, and we will definitely work on, we're more than happy to host you again. And for our audience who might be interested in leveraging community and like what we do, feel free to join Facebook developer circles, or maybe just like Meta developer circles in your area. I think it's a great way to connect with like-minded people, and I think oh, community is the backbone of software. Like I feel that's how it is, and I'm pretty sure Ashwini and Shubhodeep, both being also a constant part of community, would agree to this. So please feel free to check it out. And not only that, but if you are someone who has more of an entrepreneurial inclination, then feel free to check out Maker Mela. It is a really cool platform that can help you bootstrap your idea and give you the right kind of guidance and resources that you might need to sort of take your product to the next level. It was great hosting everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.